Well, hi and welcome to another video from Berkshire Guitar Amplifier Repairs. On the bench today I have a Fender Bassbreaker 15. This is going to be an unusual video because I know from the start I'm not going to be able to repair this amplifier. I've had this amplifier in before, and Fender have designed this to make it virtually impossible to repair. Nice one, Fender. You can't even service the pots on the top if they eventually get dirty. They're completely inaccessible, and they've designed it in a way that you can't get to them. You might think, well, how on earth have they done that? The answer is they've created a U-shaped chassis, and they've put a printed circuit board on each face of that chassis and a printed circuit board on the top panel of the chassis. And even if you try to take that top panel off, it's all completely wired in with cables, and it's just impossible to even get a look-see inside, let alone be able to change a component. I'm really annoyed at Fender for creating this, because basically what they've created here is landfill. All those classic Fender amps of the past, which you could easily repair and are going on now 50, 60 years after they're made, as soon as this amplifier develops any kind of fault, you can pretty much write it off. No decent amp tech will take it on because they know about these amps, and I'm not sure whether Fender will repair it either. Basically, you've got an amplifier which is good for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. As soon as it develops any kind of fault, you can forget it. So if you own this amplifier, I would suggest you get rid of it. If you're thinking of buying this amplifier, do not buy this amplifier. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll pop the back off, take the chassis out, and I'll show you the difficulty of accessing this amplifier. But I'm not going to be able to repair it, I'll tell you that from the outset. By the way, the problem with this amplifier is the customer left it on for several weeks, I think, and when he came and realised he'd left it on, the valves had literally exploded inside in a shower of glass, and he thought, okay, well, fair enough, I'll put a new set of valves in. Excuse me. So he popped a new set of valves in, and the output tube's immediately red plated. So there's something going on inside here. If it was accessible, it would be a relatively easy fix. It'll just be maybe the cathode resistor, or maybe the cathode capacitor has gone short circuit or something. It would be a 30-minute job. But with this amp, you're looking at, even if you wanted to try it, you're looking at half a day work to be able to access any kind of components inside it. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's pop the back and have a look and see the nightmare, which is a Fender Bassbreaker 15. Okay, here's the amp, kind of dusty on top, as you can see. We'll clean all that up when we've finished the repair. I've got the back off, and inside you can see it looks pretty clean. Nothing I can see immediately worries me there. A Celestion G12 speaker in there. So I'm going to need to take the chassis out now and see if I can see why those output tubes are red plating. Okay, a couple of screws in the side here, 2 on the top and 2 on the side here, so I'll just take these out. Two more on the top. Okay, that one's... Okay, I have to support the chassis by the looks of it whilst I take this one out. Yeah. I thought the chassis was supported, but it isn't. And heavy. There we go. Take the speaker tags off. Should have done that first. Oh, little shock test. All part of the service. Okay, yuck. Yuck, 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 yuck. Oh no, I really hate these kind of amps. I'm going to show you why now. And to do that I'm going to have to take the camera off. Be back in a jiffy. Right, this is another example of really poor design by Fender, which I see quite often. This amplifier is not really designed to be maintained. I thought I'd seen one of these before, and as soon as I looked inside I knew I had. You see how they've built this chassis here with the boards? You've got 3 boards there, one there, one there, and one there, all crammed into this chassis, and you can't take the back off this. There's no, this piece here is a single piece of metal all the way around there, and you've got this plate here which will come off, but that doesn't give you fantastic access to that wrap-around board idea, which I really dislike. Anyway, we're going to take this panel off here and see what kind of see if we can see anything inside, which will allow us to repair this amp. But I think you can immediately see that if you had to remove this board, it won't come out because this board's in the way and that board's in the way. Similarly, this board, if you wanted to remove the board, this board in here, this board's in the way, and this one's in the way, so it's a complete flipping nightmare really. Anyway, I'll whip off that back panel and then I'll show you what we've got inside. Well, I've taken these 6 screws off this panel, and as expected this doesn't give you any kind of access at all. This will pull forward a little bit, a couple of centimetres. It's got the board attached on it there, it's got all the cabling attaching it to the inside of the amp. Right over here you've got the main socket. That means that this won't even pull away from the chassis here, because inside here you've got all this wiring, and as I mentioned before, this is a continuous U of metal. You can't get access to anything else apart from, you know, removing this this panel here. So again, at the moment I've got no idea how one would even begin to get inside this and maintain it. I'll do a bit more investigation. Well, I'll update you with progress such as I'm making. What's stopping this panel here going this way is this earth strap here. You can see these wires are tight, and to make any progress I'm going to have to try and take that nut off, but of course Fender put it right hard up against the bend here, so you can't get a spanner in there. So you might think, oh well, just get a screwdriver on the other side. Oh no, it's under the serial number tab there, and when I peel that back there's no screw head, it's a stud welded in. So once again, well done Fender, nice one. We'll try and get this nut off here and then see if we can get a little bit more play, because at the moment I can't even begin to see what's going on inside this amplifier. You may be picking up from me that I'm not terribly impressed. Well, it took me 10 minutes to get that nut off there, using a combination of spanners, needle nose pliers, long pliers, 1/8 of a turn at a time. It was on with Loctite nut retainer as well, and that's allowed me to pull it forward a little bit more, but as you can see it's just a complete jumble of cable clipped wires inside, which doesn't in any way allow for the removal of this panel to get access for service. I've managed to you know, have a peer in here. The valve board is there that I'm pointing at it there. Look, there are the 2 output valves, and I can just about see through a tangle of wires through this tangle of wires here. If I get my head in, I can just about make out the components on the back of the board, and I don't see any fried components or anything, but there are a couple of power resistors in there which could be problematic. I've been repairing amps for many years. I don't see any way of servicing this amp. I don't even know how they manufactured it. How on earth did they wire this up and get all this together? It's an absolute disaster as far as maintenance is concerned, and I think Fender should be totally ashamed of themselves. The only other amp I know that's as bad as this is the PV Classic 30, which uses the same folded U chassis here with a board on each face, making it next to impossible to service. Now, I'm not saying I couldn't start, pulling off these connectors, labeling them up, pulling off all these connectors here, 6 of them, this one too. We're up to 15 connections already. That might allow me to swing this panel out a little bit more, but then, how do we get to the board that's underneath the power valves and do any kind of work on that? I just, to be honest with you, I don't fancy this, and I'm going to tell the customer that I wasn't able to fix it and that they should send it back to Fender. You see, the problem here is if I get stuck in here and start to completely dismantle this amp, is it going to go back together? Is it going to work at all? Normally, if there was a problem on an amp, I could fault find it, but you can't fault find on this. So I'm going to leave well enough alone, a bit like I feel about PV Classic 30. And this is one of the, about 1 in 50 amps I say to the customer, no, I don't think I want to touch that. So guys, if you're watching this and you have one of these and you're trying to fix it, I'm very sorry. If I can't do it, I suspect you can't either.